Last year, I spent $47 at the grocery store. Total, for the entire year. No, I didn't starve. No, I didn't eat ramen every day. And no, I don't have 10 acres and a trust fund. I have a quarter-acre suburban lot, a $200 startup budget, and a system so efficient that I haven't bought vegetables, herbs, or fruit in 14 months. They want you to believe food independence is impossible, that you need land, money, and years of experience. But here's what they're not telling you. With the right plan, you can grow 365 days of food in less space than most people waste on a lawn. This isn't about a summer tomato patch. This is a military-grade, month-by-month survival garden plan designed to feed you every single day of the year, even if the grocery stores close tomorrow. I've tested it through droughts, freezes, and supply chain chaos, and it works. If you've ever felt the panic of rising food prices, if you've been burned by crops that failed, or if you're just tired of depending on a system that's one crisis away from collapse, this video is your roadmap. I'm walking you through the 365-day garden plan, the exact crops you plant each month, and the 3 phases that turn a dirt lot into a food fortress. Welcome to Plant Space Collective, where we grow more for less. Hit subscribe, because we're about to build a garden that feeds you 365 days a year, starting right now. Part 1. The 3-phase system. Most gardens fail to provide year-round food because of bad planning. People garden in one phase, spring and summer. They plant tomatoes in May, harvest in August, and the garden sits empty for 8 months. That's not survival. That's a hobby. A 365-day survival garden operates in 3 overlapping phases. Phase 1, the cool season, October through April. Kale, spinach, carrots, beets, garlic, onions, broccoli, and cabbage. These crops tolerate frost, some improve after freezing, and they produce when grocery prices peak. I harvest fresh greens every week from November through March with no greenhouse. Phase 2, the warm season, May through September. Tomatoes, peppers, cucumbers, squash, beans, and corn. Your heavy producers and the backbone of preserved food for winter. A well-managed warm season produces so much you'll be canning until October. Phase 3, the storage season year-round. Winter squash, potatoes, sweet potatoes, onions, garlic, dried beans, and root vegetables stored in sand. 100 pounds of butternut squash harvested in September feeds you until March. That's 6 months from one planting. The plan works because these phases overlap. While harvesting cool season greens in February, you're starting warm season seedlings indoors. While canning tomatoes in August, you're planting fall brassicas. While eating stored squash in December, your garlic grows underground for next June. No gaps, no off-season, only continuous production. Here's what most people don't realize about this system. When you walk into a grocery store in February, you're paying premium prices for vegetables shipped thousands of miles from California or Mexico. Those same vegetables, kale, carrots, beets, are growing in your backyard right now, under a layer of mulch, thriving in 20-degree weather. While your neighbors are paying $4 for a bunch of kale, you're harvesting it fresh from frozen ground. The cool season isn't a limitation. It's your competitive advantage. And once you understand that winter is a growing season, not a waiting season, everything changes. Part 2. Space requirements. You need roughly 600 square feet for one person. That's a 20x30 plot. For a family of 4, 1,200 square feet. Smaller than most 2-car garages. Less space? Compensate with vertical growing, succession planting, and intensity. I've seen 80% food production in 10x, 20 feet, using trellises and tight spacing. Cool season beds, 200 square feet. Rotating greens, roots, and brassicas. Replanted 3 to 4 times yearly. Warm season beds, 300 square feet. Tomatoes, peppers, cucumbers, squash, beans. Planted once in late spring, produces until frost. Storage crop area, 100 square feet. Potatoes, sweet potatoes, winter squash, dry beans. Planted late spring, harvested fall, stored for winter. Perennial area, 50 square feet. Asparagus, rhubarb, herbs. Plant once, harvest forever. Limited space? Prioritize calories. A 4x8 bed of potatoes produces 50 to 100 pounds. A 4x8 bed of lettuce produces maybe 10 pounds. And here's the key: succession planting. Don't plant all your lettuce in April. Plant a new row every 2 weeks from March through May, and again, August through October. Continuous harvests instead of feast or famine chaos. Let me give you a real example from my garden. Last year, I planted a 4x8 raised bed with succession planted carrots. First planting went in March 15th. Second planting April 5th. Third planting April 26th. By the time my first carrots were ready in late June, the second planting was halfway grown, and the third planting was just starting to size up. I pulled carrots every single week from June through September from that one bed. Compare that to my neighbor who planted an entire packet of carrot seeds on the same day in April. He had 200 carrots ready at once in July, gave away half because they were cracking in the heat, and by August, he was buying carrots at the store again. Same space, same effort, completely different results. That's the power of staggered planting. Part 3. The 15 foundation crops. These 15 crops are non-negotiable, calorie-dense, store-well, beginner-proof. Potatoes. 1 pound of seed produces 10 pounds of food, stores 6 months. Sweet potatoes. More nutrition than potatoes, stores up to a year. Winter squash. 1 plant produces 20 to 30 pounds, stores 6 to 8 months. Dry beans, protein and calories. Plant in June, let pods dry, shell, store in jars. Onions. Planted spring or fall, stores up to 10 months. Garlic. Planted October, harvested June, stores 8 to 10 months. Carrots. Plant early spring and late summer. Overwinter in ground or store in sand. Beets. Edible roots and greens. Stores well, grows fast, tolerates cold. Kale. Survives freezing, produces all winter, nutrient-packed. Tomatoes. Backbone of preservation. 1 plant produces 20 to 40 pounds. Plant 10 to 20 if you're serious. Peppers. Sweet and hot. Dry, freeze, or ferment. Cucumbers. Fresh eating and pickling. Pickles store over a year. Zucchini. 1 plant feeds a family. Shred and freeze for winter baking. Green beans. Succession plant every 2 weeks. Can, freeze, or dry. Lettuce and greens. Cool season. Cut and come again varieties provide months of harvests. Master these 15, you won't go hungry. Now, I know what you're thinking. 15 crops sounds overwhelming if you're starting from scratch. So here's how you prioritize in year 1. Pick 5. Potatoes, tomatoes, winter squash, garlic, and 1 green like kale or lettuce. Just 5. Master those 5 crops, learn their timing, dial in your soil, and get comfortable with the rhythm. That alone cuts your grocery bill by 40 to 50%. Year 2, add 5 more. Beans, onions, carrots, cucumbers, and peppers. Now you're at 70% food independence. Year 3, add the final 5. By year 3, you're not buying produce anymore. You're not even thinking about the grocery store. Start small, build confidence, expand deliberately. Part 4, the month-by-month calendar. This is for Zone 7. Colder or warmer zones, shift dates by 2 to 4 weeks. January, start onion seeds indoors. Plan layout. Order seeds. February, start tomatoes and peppers indoors. Direct sow peas and lettuce under row cover. March, direct sow carrots, beets, kale, spinach, plant onion sets and seed potatoes. April, transplant cool season crops. Succession, plant lettuce and radishes. May, transplant tomatoes, peppers, cucumbers, squash after last frost, direct sow beans and corn, plant sweet potato slips. June, succession plant beans and cucumbers, direct sow winter squash. July, start fall brassicas indoors, direct sow carrots and beets for fall. August, transplant fall brassicas, direct sow lettuce, spinach, radishes for fall. September, harvest and cure winter squash, onions, garlic, mulch, carrots, and beets for winter harvest. October, plant garlic, harvest potatoes and sweet potatoes. Cure for storage. November, harvest last warm season crops before frost. Mulch heavily over carrots, beets, kale. December, harvest storage crops as needed. Plan next year. Every month, you're planting, harvesting, or preserving. That's why it works. One critical thing about this calendar, you'll notice I'm not planting everything at maximum intensity in May and June like most gardeners do. That's intentional. May and June are busy months, yes, but July and August are just as important. July is when you start your fall and winter food. If you skip July plantings because you're tired or busy, you lose November, December, January, and February harvests. That's 4 months of food gone because you took 1 month off. The calendar doesn't care if you're tired. The calendar doesn't care if it's hot. You plant in July, or you buy groceries in January. It's that simple. Part 5. Succession planting. The difference between 2 months of food and 12 months is succession planting. Lettuce matures in 45 to 60 days. Plant an entire bed in April, you'll have 30 heads ready at once in June. You can't eat 30 heads before they bolt. Instead, plant 1 row in April, another 2 weeks later, another 2 weeks after that. Lettuce maturing every 2 weeks from June through August. Continuous harvest, 0 waste. Same for radishes, 25 days, beans, 55 days, carrots, 70 days, beets, 60 days, cucumbers, 60 days, zucchini, 50 days. For carrots, I plant a new row every 3 weeks from March through July. Fresh carrots, June through November. For beans, every 2 weeks from May through July. Fresh beans, July through October. Succession planting requires discipline. Mark your calendar. Keep seeds on hand. It's the difference between self-sufficiency and starvation. Here's another succession strategy most people miss. Interplanting fast and slow crops. When you transplant tomatoes in May, they're tiny. They won't fill out and shade the bed for another 4 to 6 weeks. So what do you do with all that empty space? You interplant radishes or lettuce between the tomato plants. The radishes mature in 25 days. You harvest them, and by the time the tomatoes need the space, it's already cleared. You just doubled your production from the same square footage. Same thing works with winter squash and beans. Squash takes 90 days and sprawls everywhere, but for the first 40 days, it's a tiny plant. Direct sow bush beans around the squash. Harvest the beans in July before the squash vines take over. 2 crops, 1 space, 0 waste. Part 6. Preservation and storage. Growing food is half the system. If you don't preserve, you'll eat like royalty in August and starve in February. Canning. Tomatoes, pickles, salsa, green beans. I put up 100 jars of tomatoes every August. That's sauce for the entire year. Freezing. Blanch and freeze beans, peas, corn, peppers, zucchini, greens. A chest freezer holds a year's worth. Dehydrating. Tomatoes, peppers, herbs, onions, zucchini. Stores for years. Minimal space. Root cellaring. Potatoes, sweet potatoes, carrots, beets, winter squash, onions. Store in cool, dark, humid environment. Pack carrots and beets in damp sand. Fermentation, sauerkraut, kimchi, pickles, hot sauce. Stores for months, improves gut health. You need at least 2 or 3 of these. Only eating fresh wastes 70% of your garden's potential. Part 7. The calorie calculation. An adult needs 2,000 to 2,500 calories per day. That's 730,000 to 912,500 calories per year. Calorie breakdown per 100 square feet. Potatoes, 140,000 to 210,000 calories. Sweet potatoes, 120,000 to 200,000 calories. Winter squash, 36,000 to 54,000 calories. Dry beans, 36,000 to 60,000 calories. Corn, 165,000 to 247,500 calories. Dedicate 300 square feet to these crops, you're producing 400,000 to 600,000 calories. That's 6 to 8 months from storage crops alone. Remaining calories come from fresh eating. Tomatoes, cucumbers, greens, peppers, succession vegetables. You're not relying on lettuce. You're building a calorie foundation that stores, supplemented by fresh year-round. Part 8. Common failures. Mistake 1. Planting only what you like, not what you need. Plant what stores, even if it's not your favorite. Mistake 2. Not starting cool season crops early enough. Start brassicas in July. Plant garlic in October. Mistake 3. Overplanting warm season, underplanting storage. 20 tomato plants feed you year-round through canning. Mistake 4. Poor storage conditions. Storage crops need cool, dark, humid conditions. Mistake 5. Ignoring soil health. Compost heavily. Use cover crops. Rotate beds. Mistake 6. Not keeping records. Write down what you planted, when, and how much you harvested. Part 9. First Year Action Plan. Step 1. Start small, 200 to 400 square feet. Focus on foundation crops. Expand year 2. Step 2. Build soil now. Add compost, aged manure, organic matter. Step 3. Order seeds now. Heirloom, open-pollinated, buy extra. Step 4. Plan your layout. Sketch your garden. Mark bed locations. Step 5. Start cool season crops. Plant garlic, onions, greens now. Step 6. Learn one preservation method. Master it this year. Add others in year 2. By year 1's end, you'll be 50 to 70% food independent. Year 2, 90%. Year 3, buying nothing but bulk grains. There it is, the complete 365-day survival garden plan. From the 3-phase system to the month-by-month calendar, you now have everything to stop depending on grocery stores. Download the free planting calendar in the description. Print it, pin it, follow it exactly. Start with foundation crops. Build your soil. Plant garlic this fall. Start tomato seeds in February. Harvest potatoes in summer. Store for winter. Can tomatoes. Freeze beans. Ferment cabbage. 1 year from now, you'll walk past the produce aisle and feel nothing but pity. What's the first crop you're planting? Potatoes? Garlic? Tomatoes? Let me know in the comments. If you want more systems for total food independence, hit subscribe. Thanks for watching Plant Space Collective. Your 365-day garden starts now.